strike action. And one of the things that's really touched us is every single time, every single picket line, the Friends have been here with us. They've been here on our picket lines and we've been there at their demonstrations, and that is one of the great strengths of this campaign. They haven't been able to divide us library by library, and they haven't been able to divide the staff against the users. We've always said we're going to stay together. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about the council now, because the council have been spending a lot of money in the last few days telling everyone that we're lying, and telling everyone that you're lying. The beastly coalition spreading lies across the borough that they're closing libraries include the Friends group, include the staff, include the head of the library service actually, and some of our local MPs. They say they're not closing any libraries. They say, for example, in Carnegie, the library will open again in 2017 as a healthy living centre with a refurbished neighbourhood library, new computers, the same book stock and the same study space. We've got something to tell Lipec. Reopening a building as something else is not closing it. We tried to put it into language that she understands, because we know she doesn't know a lot about libraries. So we explained it like this. Lipec, if we turn up to your house and we drag you out on the street and we lock the doors and then we refurbish it as a fish and chip shop and then we reopen it as a fish and chip shop, you will not be reassured when we say, don't worry, we reopened it just as something else. A library is wide-ranging quality book stock that you can borrow without charge. It's up-to-date IT that's free to access and supplemented to support from trained staff. It's free community events for children, for adults and for teenagers. It's access to e-books and a wide range of quality services, a safe and welcoming space free from commercial influence, and dedicated services run by professionals. We're going to play a game now. We're going to play Is It a Library? So I'm going to shout the name of something and you're going to shout library or not a library. So, a gym. Not a library. An unstaffed bookshelf. Not a library. A submarine. Not a library. Carnegie Library. Library. A pile of books at the side of a church. Not a library. Minette Library. A library. It's fantastic. Without any professional training, you've got there so much further than the Lambeth Council. We're not going to take this rubbish from them, and we are going to carry on telling the truth. Yes. And we've said from Unison that if you are going to go around calling us liars, you provide some proof that you're going to provide library services in these buildings, or you come and debate us in public, in front of the people that we serve, and surprisingly, so far, they've declined. I want to talk about one more thing that they've said, and I will hurry. I'm sorry, Mickey. There's been a lot that's been thrown at the campaign where they've said that we don't care about the vulnerable residents of Lambeth. Matthew Bennett said while they knock back wine in the library, almost 5,000 homeless children in Lambeth go to bed in temporary accommodation. Jane Edrick said there are other councils out there who don't have any domestic violence services, and no one made a mention because, funnily enough, these women were far too vulnerable to kick up a noise about it. Shame! Let's start with the fact that we're not just campaigning for libraries. We stand with the people fighting for the NHS. We stand with the people who are trying to save domestic violence services. And we need to make very, very, very clear to Lambeth Labour that we are going to kick up a fuss. Not just kick up a fuss about the library service, but kick up a fuss about every cut they try and make. It doesn't follow that by defending one public service, you're asking for another to close. The richest families in Britain increased their wealth by 100% since 2010. For 1,000 families, that's £250 billion. A country can afford better domestic violence services and libraries. It can afford an NHS and education. As campaigners in the libraries, we were pleased when we saw them save Clapham Fire Station. We were pleased when the community in Lewisham saved their hospital. We get stronger every campaign that wins. We don't get weaker. Children living in refuges and temporary accommodation are some of the families who need our services the most. They need stories, they need space, they need advice and information. We serve Lambeth's vulnerable residents in so many ways. Scrap that, we're going to stop calling them vulnerable residents because there's not some innate vulnerability to the people of Lambeth. In fact, they're just being treated like crap. They're kept poor by people who demand to get richer, and they're kept their services broken by people who are more powerful than them. We have those families, and it's the oppressed and the poor who will lose the most when we take away libraries. But Lambeth libraries are also used by better off residents, and there's no shame in that. In order to strengthen our community, we want all of our families walking through the same door. High quality universal services break down barriers between different people with different experiences. We want Lambeth's vulnerable residents to expect and receive library services which middle class families use and value. We will fight on for that for all the people of Lambeth, and we are so proud to see you all here today.